Good evening, class. Today's lecture will focus on calculus limits with trigonometric identities. Please like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the channel. My Cash App is with a $sign up front, MLBFAN. Here we see a limit of x goes to 0 of cosecant x minus cotangent x divided by x. And off to the side, we have some useful trig identities and an useful special case limit. So the useful trig identities include cosecant x is equivalent to 1 divided by sine x. Cotangent x is equivalent to cosine x divided by sine x. Sine squared of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of x. And the useful special case limit includes the limit of x goes to 0 of sine x divided by x is equal to 1. Let's get started here. So the limit of x goes to 0, and as specified, cosecant x is equivalent to 1 divided by sine x minus cotangent x is equivalent to cosine x divided by sine x. All divided by x. Now, this can be rewritten with the denominator written off to the side, and let's put parentheses around the numerator here. So it's going to be rewritten as the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 divided by sine x minus cosine x divided by sine x, all divided by x. And we're going to make x a fraction and put it over 1 because eventually we're going to have to multiply by the reciprocal. Now we see in parentheses they both have the same denominator, so we can bring this together. So the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 divided by sine x minus cosine x divided by sine x is equivalent to 1 minus cosine of x divided by sine x, and then divided by x divided by 1. So now that we have that together, now on the left part, we're going to have to rationalize the numerator to be able to simplify this. So the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine x divided by sine x, and we can rationalize the numerator by multiplying by 1 plus cosine of x to the numerator and denominator. So we're filling this in here, and then give us some room here, and then divided by x divided by 1. Now we need to FOIL in the numerator, so the limit of x goes to 0, so it's going to be 1 times 1 plus 1 cosine of x that's the outer portion of the FOIL. Then you have the inner version of the FOIL as well, and then minus 1 cosine of x, and then minus cosine squared of x, in which comes from minus cosine of x times cosine of x, and we'll simplify that in the next step, all divided by sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x. And then off to the side, divided by x divided by 1. And then we will simplify this on the next page. And so we will let this marinate here. So in the numerator again, it's 1 times 1 plus 1 times cosine of x minus 1 times cosine of x minus cosine of x times cosine of x. And then in the denominator, we have sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x, and then divided by x divided by 1. So let's move on to the next page. So as the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 times 1, which breaks down to 1, and then plus 1 cosine of x minus 1 cosine of x minus cosine of x times cosine of x all over sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x. And then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So it's going to be times 1 divided by x. Okay. And we see 1 cosine of x minus 1 cosine of x will cancel out. And so the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 minus cosine squared of x, because cosine of x times cosine of x is cosine squared of x, and then divided by sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x, and then multiplied by 1 divided by x. And now we know the special case limit for 1 minus cosine squared of x. Let's bring that back really quickly. And sine squared of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of x. So let's replace this. So the limit of x goes to 0, and replace 1 minus cosine squared of x with sine squared of x, and because that is the trig identity, all divided by sine of x times 1 plus cosine of x, all multiplied by 1 divided by x. So now we need to factor sine squared in the numerator. So the limit of x goes to 0 of sine x times sine x all over sine x times 1 plus cosine of x multiplied by 1 divided by x. And we see here that a sine x will cancel out. So now we see in the numerator that's left sine of x and then times 1. And then in the denominator, we have 1 plus cosine of x times x. So we can actually rotate factors in the denominator and numerator. So the limit as x goes to 0 of sine of x times 1. We'll keep that the same in the numerator. And then put the x in front of 1 plus cosine of x. And you will see why in a little bit. So now I could split this apart and say the limit of x goes to 0 of sine x divided by x, and then times 1 over 1 plus cosine of x. And let's bring back that special case limit in the previous on the previous page here. As we see, the limit of x goes to 0 of sine x divided by x is equal to 1. That's why we want to write it like this. So now I could say the limit of x goes to 0 of sine x divides x times the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 divided by 1 plus cosine of x. And we know that this special case limit of x goes to 0 of sine x divided by x is equivalent to 1. So let's put that there so we know it's 1. So now it's going to be 1 times the limit of x goes to 0, and then we can go ahead and substitute 0 into the equation of 1 divided by 1 plus cosine of 0. Okay? And so this is going to be now 1 times the limit of x goes to 0 of 1 divided by 1 plus, and cosine of 0 is 1. So this is going to equal 1 times 1 divided by 2, and which is equal to 1/2. So this is the solution for this limit here. And let's let this marinate here. And also, if you need math help, please text 559 744 3169 for services. And then please donate on the Cash App as well. With the $ up front. MLBFAN. And let's let this marinate here. Calculus can be tricky, but it can be made easier, when you know the formulas and how to factor, rationalize the denominator or numerator. So a lot of other factors come into play before calculus, like college algebra, algebra 2, and other math subjects that may help with simplifying calculus-related problems. So again, if you need math help, please text 559-744-3169 for services. Please donate on the Cash App with the $ up front, MLBFAN. Thank you so much, and let's learn math together.